name is Citrus, and today, don't know if you heard, but there was a Nintendo Direct. It's kind of funny, this one really snuck up on me. Usually, when it's around Nintendo Direct season, I'm like, oh, when are we gonna get the Direct? When's it gonna happen? You know, I'm really like anticipating when they're gonna announce it. But this one really just kind of dropped out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, right, Directs. Those are supposed to happen around this time, huh? So going into it, I didn't really have that many expectations. I figured there would be a new Fire Emblem project, and I thought that Monolith Soft would have something because I heard rumors that they've been working on something for a while. But other than those two, I had no idea what we were getting into. But now that the Direct is over, we've gotten all of the announcements. I want to go down the list, talk about all the ones that sort of jumped out to me, and I have things to comment on about them. And yeah, we are gonna start with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. So Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is a brand new Fire Emblem Warriors game. Who would have thought? But they're kind of doing that thing, sort of like how Age of Calamity with Zelda did it, where it's tied into one specific game from the series, this one being Fire Emblem Three Houses, which means this could be an actually canon spin-off to Fire Emblem Three Houses and actually have some deep lore stuff in there. Or it could be like Age of Calamity, where it's a sort of alternate timeline sort of thing. It could go in a whole lot of directions, and they weren't very specific on how this will influence the plot, but from the little bits of dialogue, from what I can gather, this might be a sort of true ending to Fire Emblem Three Houses, where everyone works together and saves the day. Now, I really liked Fire Emblem Three Houses. I thought it was pretty good. It was my first Fire Emblem game that I ever actually played, and I enjoyed it. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on this one. And I also loved Age of Calamity and Persona 5 Strikers, so this is just a grand combination. Next up is Pokemon Strikers Battle League. Oh my god. Pokemon Strikers is probably the coolest Mario sports spin-off game. Not to say that the others are bad or anything, but this one just has so much personality, and it's one we haven't gotten in forever. I personally never even thought that we would get a new Strikers game. I heard rumors that Nintendo thought it was a little too violent for Mario's image. But here we are with a brand new Mario Strikers, and it looks pretty good. It has a similar aesthetic to the past games, with it being more hardcore, although I will say in gameplay you don't really get that feeling. But when it comes to the special moves in the game, you actually do get to see that more sketchy outline style, which is pretty cool. They also have this new gear system, which, I'm not gonna lie, all the gear kinda looks generic to me, and I don't know, something about it just doesn't look as cool as the original game to me. But it's nice that they're adding this sort of depth with the gear and being able to customize it. And then there's the online, where you can actually make your own soccer club and actually compete with your friends online, which is such a cool idea. I think that's super fun. And this game also comes out in June, so June, looking kinda packed. And of course, we all expected this going into this Direct, but we have a huge Splatoon segment. And this time it's actually about Salmon Run, which was one of the most popular modes in Splatoon 2, which they're bringing back for Splatoon 3. And don't get me wrong, I think it's very cool that they're bringing back Salmon Run. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this mode and actually preferred it to the regular gameplay of Splatoon 2. But so far, it doesn't look very different from Splatoon 2 Salmon Run. Like right now they're showing these new enemies and stuff, but just looking at like the map and the general gameplay and aesthetic of this version of Salmon Run, you could tell me that this was from Splatoon 2 and I would just believe you. And that's kind of been my problem with Splatoon 3 so far. Nothing about it is that different from Splatoon 2, other than that initial trailer we got with that hub, which looked like this crazy sort of different style city. And also, this was just a crazy long segment in the Direct. It's literally just Salmon Run. You can play it right now and it looks pretty much the goddamn same, so I don't know why they focused so much on it. And the last thing that I am kind of worried about is this game still doesn't have a full date, just summer 2022. Meanwhile, we have Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes and Mario Strikers Battle League, which just got announced and are both coming out in June, in the summer. But Splatoon 3, which we've known about for such a long time, still claims it's coming out in summer, but no date at this point. I just wouldn't be surprised if it got delayed, which might not be such a bad thing. All things considered, it does look like more Splatoon, and more Splatoon is good Splatoon, but it's just not looking different enough for me to really think about buying it when I already have Splatoon 2 and play Splatoon 2. But with that little rant out of the way, we can talk about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, because of course we were going to get a Kirby and the Forgotten Land trailer. It comes out in like a month. And in this trailer, the main thing that they showed off was this new mouthful mode, they called it, where Kirby can put his mouth over stuff and like control it, like this car, which is so funny. They also showed that you can upgrade your copy abilities to have different effects, which is a very cool idea. I love that. And some of the upgrades that they showed off in this trailer look awesome. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say about Kirby because it just continues to look fantastic. I am so excited for this game, and that's really all there is to it. Comes out in like a month. I'm so ready. I'm so hyped. It looks great. Now, this was a small announcement that really caught me off guard. Klonoa remakes. That's dope. I've always been interested in the Klonoa series, just seeing the art style and the gameplay. It looked like my kind of game, but I never actually really got a chance to play it. And with this collection giving us Klonoa 1 and 2, the Wii versions now remastered, this seems like a great entry point into the series. I really hope that this does well because I would love to see some modern Klonoa games, maybe even like a 3D Klonoa platformer. That would be so cool. And yeah, just hopefully this comes out soon because I've always wanted to try out the series. Next we have the Portal Companion Connection, another smaller announcement, but one that is so cool. Literally, what more needs to be said about Portal as a series? Both games are just huge achievements in game design, storytelling, even horror. They're just amazing games. Bringing them to Switch is something that I never would have expected, but it is very cool. And the only thing that I can hope for with this is that they are reasonably priced. Portal 1 and 2 can be found on Steam for a couple bucks when they're on sale, so hopefully they wouldn't be upcharged too much. I'm expecting them to be put out for about 20 bucks because, you know, Switch games are just marked up like that, but I would be more than willing to pay 20 bucks for games that are so good on my favorite platform. Next up is Live Alive, which is a series that I have never heard of. It seems very cool though. From what I understand, this is a game with multiple smaller stories in it from different time periods and with different characters, and it's in the HD 2D engine, which is always just gorgeous to look at. And just from going on Twitter for a little bit, I've heard a lot of good things about the series, and despite it never coming out in America, there are quite a few fans of it who have wanted it to be localized for a long time. So, I'm definitely interested to check this one out. And just once again, shout outs to Square Enix for putting the time into these weird, obscure RPG series that people have never heard of and still giving them the spotlight and making new games and remasters and things like that. That's just so admirable. But back to some bangers, back to some big ass announcements. Nintendo Switch Sports. Let's fucking go. A new Wii Sports style game was something I always wanted, but never actually thought that we would get. But here we are with Nintendo Switch Sports. You've got tennis, bowling, chambara, soccer, badminton, and volleyball. There's also going to be golf, which will be added later in an update. And while I'm happy we're finally getting another game in this style and in this series, I have some concerns. For one, I have played the bowling minigame in Clubhouse Games, and that does not feel too good. It's just not nearly as accurate as the bowling in Wii Sports, and I think it just comes down to the Joy-Con. They don't have as sophisticated of a sensor in them as the Wii remotes, and that's kind of a big deal when you're making a motion-based minigame collection. And then there's the lineup, which is kind of lacking in my opinion. Like tennis, badminton, and volleyball are all pretty similar styles of game where you're just trying to hit a ball over a net, which when you turn that into a video game, they all kind of play the same. And we're missing classics like baseball and boxing. Now these could be added later like they're saying with golf, but I fear it could be like what happened with Mario Golf, where they added content far too late and everyone just sort of lost interest by then. I think it's also worth pointing out this game is going to be $40, not $60, but that doesn't really change my opinion that much when you consider the original Wii Sports was a tie-in with the Wii. You didn't even have to pay for it. But with all that said, I'm still pretty optimistic about this game. I definitely want to try out that trial thing that they're doing in about a week. I really just want to see how this game compares to the original, because I am dying for more Wii Sports type fun. And next is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Oh my god. So right out the gate, this pretty much deconfirms Mario Kart 9, which kind of sad, but I feel like this makes up for it. You have 48 remastered tracks. That's basically a new game in and of itself. I think I speak for everyone when I say we've been dying for more Mario Kart content, and while most people were thinking in terms of Mario Kart 9, I definitely do not mind more Mario Kart DLC, because really I just want new content. I don't care what form it takes, and this looks really good. And it's priced incredibly well at just $25 for 48 tracks, and granted, you're not getting all of them at once. They're going to be in waves that are going to come out throughout this year and the next, but that's still really good, and it's going to keep up interest in Mario Kart for quite a while now. And the other thing is that it's going to be part of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass, which does add some value to that package. I think what they're doing now is just adding any big new DLC that they have to the expansion pass. We saw it with Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, we are seeing it with this Booster Course Pass for Mario Kart 8, so it seems like their new strategy for the expansion pass is to just add any new DLC that comes out to the expansion pass. The only thing that concerns me about this is that they haven't explicitly said that, so while there are 2 out right now that they've added to the pass, it could be that later on they stop doing this. I just thought it was kind of interesting, because if they outright said that all future DLC for Nintendo first-party titles would come out on the expansion pass, that would be a much bigger incentive for me to pick up the pass, because right now, I just don't see the value in it. Anyways, the first wave drops in March, so get hype. That's really soon. And lastly, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It looks like more Xenoblade. The trailer honestly was kind of whatever, but over on Nintendo's Twitter actually, they go over the plot a little bit more, and I actually find it quite intriguing. Basically, there are 2 armies, one who believes in technology and the other one who uses magic, and they're both fighting for a long time, but then this group of kids come together who are on opposing sides and they have to work together to do something. I don't know, I just like the premise. And I've never really been a Xenoblade fan, nor do I really like the combat style from what little bit I've played of it, but this game looks alright, and judging by the character designs, I won't feel shame for playing this one. I do want to get into the series, it's just that Xenoblade 2 was really weird. 1 was alright, but I didn't ever really understand what was going on in it, and then Torna was just something else entirely that I didn't even want to touch. So who knows, maybe Xenoblade 3 will be my gateway drug into Xenoblade. So those were my thoughts on the Nintendo Direct trailers, and overall, I gotta say, it was a decent Direct, but definitely not the best. Coming out of it, my main thought is the Summer Direct will probably be better. Not that this was a bad Direct or anything, it's just that there wasn't any sort of really massive thing that was super hype, like a Breath of the Wild 2 or a Bayonetta 3. Like, Fire Emblem is cool for Fire Emblem fans, Xenoblade is cool for Xenoblade fans. Switch Sports appeals to everybody, but that's not exactly hype. But just personally, I'd say my top 3 announcements were the Mario Kart DLC, Mario Strikers, and the Switch Sports announcements. Couple that with smaller announcements like Klonoa and Portal coming to Switch, along with smaller other stuff that I didn't even mention in this video, like Demon Slayer coming to Switch, and it was a pretty decent Direct. But anyways, that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on the brand new Nintendo Direct. thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, click that like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Comment down below what your thoughts were on the Nintendo Direct. What were your favorite announcements? What were your least favorite announcements? What would you give it on a scale of A to F? Let me know all that stuff down below. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Peace.